The massive Galactic Council chamber stretched as far as the eye could see, filled with hundreds of alien species from across the galaxy. Today's meeting had drawn more attention than usual, and the reason was simple. They were discussing a tiny, insignificant planet called Earth. Councillor Vex, a tall blue-skinned alien with 4 arms, stood at the center podium. His voice echoed through the chamber as he displayed holographic images of Earth's surface. The pictures showed cities, oceans, and what looked like primitive technology to the advanced alien civilizations watching. "Look at these pathetic beings," Vex said with a smirk. "They still use chemical rockets to barely reach their own moon. No energy barriers protect their planet. No orbital defense stations guard their skies. No particle shields, no plasma cannons. Nothing at all. The alien." Delegates erupted in laughter. Some pointed at the images, while others made jokes about humans driving around in metal boxes with wheels. To them, humanity looked like children playing with toys. But far away in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, Commander Lee sat, quietly in his hidden observation post. Nobody knew he was there. Not the Council, not even most humans back on Earth. His job was simple: watch, listen, and report everything back to Earth's secret command center. Lee adjusted his surveillance equipment and watched the alien delegates mock his species. He had been doing this job for 5 years now, recording every council meeting, learning their languages and studying their military capabilities. What the aliens didn't know was that humans had been watching them for decades. General Thane suddenly stood up from his seat. The reptilian warrior was 8 feet tall with scales that gleamed under the chamber's lights. His species, the Krex Dominion, was known throughout the galaxy for their brutal conquests and endless hunger for new worlds to control. "Enough talking," Thane growled, his voice like grinding metal. "If these humans are so weak and defenseless, then we should take their planet right now. My fleet is ready. Give us permission and we'll have their solar system under Krex control within 3 days." The chamber buzzed with excitement. Many species had been eyeing Earth's rich resources. For years, its clean water, diverse minerals, and perfect climate made it incredibly valuable. But galactic law required Council approval before any species could claim an unprotected world. Councillor Vex looked around the chamber, seeing nods of agreement from most delegates. "Very well, General Thane. The motion is approved. You have official permission to claim the Sol system for the Krex Dominion. Our intelligence suggests the entire operation should take no more than 72 standard hours." More laughter filled the chamber. Some aliens were already discussing how they might benefit from trade deals with the Krex after the conquest. Others wondered if humans would make good slaves, or if they were too primitive to be useful. But Commander Lee wasn't laughing. He quickly activated his quantum communicator, a device so advanced that the Council's sensors couldn't even detect it. The message would reach Earth instantly, traveling through dimensions that most alien species hadn't even discovered yet. "Command, this is Observer Post 7, Lee whispered into his communicator. "The fish have taken the bait. Repeat, they've approved the Krex invasion. General Thane is mobilizing his fleet as we speak." A calm voice responded from Earth. "Copy that, Observer 7. How long until they reach our outer perimeter?" Lee checked his calculations. Based on Krex ship speeds, approximately 18 hours until they hit the Pluto detection grid. "Understood. Inform all Guardian stations that Operation Guardian Shield is now active. Time to show these aliens what humans are really capable of." Lee smiled as he ended the transmission. The Galactic Council thought they were authorizing the conquest of a helpless planet. What they had actually done was trigger the most sophisticated defense network in galactic history. For over a century, humanity had been preparing for this exact moment. The Krex war fleet moved through space like a swarm of deadly metal insects. 200 ships of various sizes cruised toward Earth's solar system, their hulls gleaming with weapon ports and armor plating. Admiral Korak stood on the bridge of his massive dreadnought, a ship so large it could house an entire city. "Sir, we're approaching the outer edge of the Sol system," reported his navigation officer. "Our sensors show—" "Wait, this is strange." Admiral Korax turned his reptilian head toward the sensor station. "What is it?" There's a small structure near the dwarf planet Pluto. It appears to be some kind of research station. The Admiral laughed, showing rows of sharp teeth. Already, these humans are even more primitive than we thought. A single tiny station at the edge of their system. This will be easier than crushing insects. Meanwhile, inside Research Station Pluto 7, Dr. Park sat calmly at his workstation. To anyone watching, he looked like a typical scientist studying atmospheric data. Charts and graphs covered his screens, showing gas compositions and temperature readings. But hidden beneath this normal appearance was something far more important. Dr. Park was actually the Outer System Coordinator for Earth's most classified defense project. Every piece of equipment on his station had a secret secondary function. His atmospheric sensors were actually long-range military scanners. His communication array could coordinate defensive actions across the entire solar system. Even his coffee maker had a hidden quantum transmitter inside. "Dr. Park, we have incoming hostiles," whispered his AI assistant through his earpiece. 200 ships, Krex configuration, approaching at standard battle formation. Park adjusted his thick glasses and continued typing atmospheric data as if nothing was happening. "Thank you, Maya. Begin Protocol 7. Alert all Guardian stations that we have visitors." As the Krex fleet drew closer, Park opened a communication channel. His voice was steady and professional, like a librarian asking someone to keep quiet. "Unknown. Vessels, you are currently trespassing in human territory," he transmitted. "I strongly advise you to withdraw immediately and return to your point of origin." The response came quickly, filled with Admiral Corax's booming laughter. "Primitive fool! Do you think your pathetic little research station can threaten the mighty Krex Dominion? We have 200 warships. You have one tiny metal box floating in space." More laughter echoed from the Krex fleet. Other ship captains joined in, making jokes about the brave little human who thought he could face down an entire armada. Some suggested they should keep the station intact as a trophy. Others wanted to use it for target practice. "Your tiny station will make an excellent first target," Admiral Corax announced. "Consider this your introduction to Krex superior firepower." The massive dreadnought's main cannon began charging up. Energy readings spiked as the weapon prepared to fire. This wasn't just any weapon. It was a plasma cannon capable of vaporizing entire city blocks. The barrel glowed bright red as deadly. Energy built up inside. Dr. Park watched his sensors track the incoming threat. He could have easily moved his station out of the way or activated defensive countermeasures. Instead, he simply adjusted his glasses and smiled slightly. "Admiral, I tried to warn you," he said calmly. "We humans really aren't as helpless as we appear." The plasma cannon fired with tremendous force. A bolt of superheated energy, bright as a small sun, raced across space toward the tiny research station. Admiral Corax and his crew watched eagerly, expecting to see the station explode into a million pieces. Instead, something impossible happened. The plasma bolt struck what appeared to be empty space around the station and simply vanished. Not reflected, not absorbed, just gone, like throwing water at a ghost. The deadly energy that should have destroyed the station completely disappeared. Without even creating a flash of light, Admiral Corax stared at his screens in confusion. "What just happened? Where did our shot go?" Dr. Park's voice came through the communication system again, still perfectly calm. "As I mentioned, Admiral, you might want to reconsider your approach. That was just our basic defensive screening. We have much more impressive systems if you'd like a demonstration." The Krex crew frantically checked their weapon systems, convinced something had malfunctioned. But every reading showed their cannon had fired perfectly. The energy had simply vanished the moment it touched whatever was protecting the human station. For the first time in his military career, Admiral Corax felt a chill of uncertainty. Admiral Corax decided to ignore the strange incident at Pluto and ordered his fleet to continue toward Mars. After all, he still had 200 warships against what appeared to be a single research station. Whatever trick the humans had used couldn't possibly work against his entire armada. "Maintain formation," he commanded his captains. "One defensive station. Means nothing. We'll crush any resistance and take this system as planned." The Krex fleet moved deeper into the solar system, their sensors sweeping space for threats. Everything looked exactly as their intelligence had predicted, mostly empty. Space with a few asteroids and planets. Nothing that could challenge a proper military force. But as they passed the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, something extraordinary began to happen. What had looked like ordinary space rocks started changing. A large asteroid that seemed perfectly normal suddenly split open like a flower blooming. Inside was a massive weapon platform, bristling with cannons and missile launchers. Then another asteroid opened up, revealing defensive shields and targeting systems, then another and another. "Sir, we're detecting massive energy signatures from the asteroid belt," reported the Krex sensor officer, his voice shaking with confusion. "These readings are impossible. It's like the rocks themselves are coming alive." Captain Song sat deep inside Ceres, the largest asteroid in the belt. From the outside, Ceres looked like any other space rock, just bigger. But inside, humans had spent 30 years building the most advanced military command center in the solar system. Miles of tunnels connected weapon systems, shield generators, and communication arrays, all hidden beneath the asteroid's surface. "Maya, show me the tactical display," Captain Song said to her AI assistant. Holographic screens lit up around her, showing the entire solar system as a three-dimensional battlefield. Red dots marked each Krex ship, while green indicators showed human defensive positions. There were a lot more green dots than Admiral Corax could have imagined. "All Guardian stations, this is command," Captain Song announced over the secret communication network. "The trap is sprung. Reveal all defensive positions and power up primary weapons. Let's show our guests what human engineering can accomplish." Throughout the solar system, the most incredible transformation began. Near Jupiter, what had appeared to be simple scientific research stations on the planet's moons suddenly lit up with energy. Massive defensive arrays emerged from underground bunkers on Europa, Ganymede, and Io. Weapons that had been hidden for decades powered up for the first time. In the outer system, communication satellites that had been peacefully orbiting for years suddenly unfolded like mechanical flowers. Their solar panels flipped around to reveal missile launch tubes. Their communication dishes rotated to become targeting systems. Every piece of seemingly innocent space equipment revealed its true military purpose. Even the large solar collection arrays that humans had built to gather energy from the sun began moving. These enormous structures, each one larger than several football fields, slowly pivoted to face the Krex fleet. As they turned, panels slid away to reveal particle beam cannons capable of cutting through the strongest alien armor. Admiral Corax watched his sensor displays in growing horror as hundreds of new contacts appeared on his screens. Every direction he looked, space was filled with human weapons that had been invisible just moments before. "This is impossible," he roared. "Our intelligence showed no major defensive installations. How could we have missed all of this?" Captain Song's voice came through on open communication channels, speaking directly to the Krex admiral. Her tone was calm and professional, like a teacher explaining something to a confused student. "Admiral, that's because humans are very good at hiding things when we need to," she said. "Your intelligence was correct. You saw exactly what we wanted you to see, nothing more, nothing less." The Krex fleet found themselves surrounded by defensive positions they never knew existed. Weapon platforms emerged from seemingly empty space. Hidden bases revealed themselves on planets and moons throughout the system. Even some of the smaller asteroids turned out to be camouflaged human ships, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. "You see, Admiral," Captain Song continued, "we've been watching your species for over 50 years. We know how you think, how you plan, and how you attack. We've been preparing for this visit for a very long time." Admiral Corax realized with growing dread that his fleet wasn't entering an undefended system. They had flown directly into the most sophisticated military trap in galactic history, and the humans were just getting started. Deep beneath the bustling streets of Seoul, South Korea, General Nam sat in the most classified military facility on Earth. The command center stretched for hundreds of meters underground, filled with the most advanced technology humanity had ever created. Massive screens covered every wall, showing real-time information from across the entire solar system. "General," Nam had been waiting for this moment his entire career. As the head of Earth's secret defense program, He knew things that would shock even most government leaders. Today, he would finally reveal humanity's greatest secret to the galaxy. "Open a direct channel to the Krek's flagship," he ordered his communication officer. It's time Admiral Corax learned the truth about what he's facing. The holographic display in front of General Nam flickered to life, showing Admiral Corax's confused and angry face. Behind the general, dozens of tactical screens showed the true scope of Earth's hidden defenses, information that would change everything the aliens thought they knew about humanity. "Admiral Corax," General Nam began, his voice steady and calm. "I am General Nam, Supreme Commander of Earth's Defense Forces. I think it's time we had an honest conversation." Admiral Corax snarled at the screen. "Another primitive human trying to threaten the Krek's dominion. Your tricks won't save you from our superior firepower." General Nam smiled slightly. "Admiral, let me explain something that might interest you. For over 100 years, humanity has been reverse engineering alien technology. Every crashed probe that accidentally landed on our planet, every abandoned ship that drifted into our solar system, every piece of lost equipment that somehow ended up in our hands, we studied it all." The general gestured to Lieutenant Cho, his tactical officer, who began activating displays throughout the command center. Suddenly the screens filled with technical diagrams, weapon schematics, and detailed analysis of alien technology from dozens of different species. "You see, Admiral, your people weren't the first aliens to visit our system," General Nam continued. "Over the decades, we've encountered technology from the Alteans, the Centauri Alliance, the Vegan Republic, and many others. Some came as explorers, some as traders, and some as potential conquerors like yourself." Lieutenant Cho brought up a massive holographic display showing the entire solar system. But this wasn't the simple view that alien intelligence had seen. This showed the true extent of human preparations, thousands of hidden installations, weapon platforms, and defensive systems that had been invisible to alien sensors. Every satellite orbiting our planets, every space station conducting research, every mining platform collecting resources, they're all part of one integrated defense network, General Nam explained. "We didn't just hide our weapons, Admiral. We made our entire solar system into a weapon." Admiral Corax stared at the display in growing disbelief. The hologram showed defensive systems on every planet, hidden bases inside asteroids, and weapon platforms disguised as civilian equipment. Even Earth's moon was covered with installations that looked like simple research facilities but were actually military command centers. "This is impossible," Admiral Corax whispered. "Our intelligence scanned your entire system. We found no major military installations." "That's because we learned from studying your technology how to hide from your sensors," General Nam replied. "We know exactly how Krek scanning systems work because we've been taking apart your equipment for 50 years. We built our defenses specifically to be invisible to your detection methods." The general activated another display showing a timeline of alien encounters. 1952, first Alteen probe crash-landed in our desert. We learned about energy shields. 1967, abandoned Centauri ship found drifting near Jupiter. We discovered faster-than-light communication. 1983, damaged vegan military vessel encountered near Mars. We figured out how their weapon systems worked. Lieutenant Cho added more information to the display. Every encounter taught us something new. We combined alien technology with human engineering to create hybrid systems that are more advanced than anything your species use separately. Admiral Corax's confidence was beginning to crack as he realized the scope of human deception. "You've been watching us all along, haven't you?" "Not just watching, Admiral," General Nam corrected. "Learning from you, studying your tactics, your technology, your weaknesses. We've been preparing for this exact scenario for decades." The general stood up, his image filling the communication screen. "Earth isn't an unprotected planet, Admiral Corax. It's the most heavily fortified system in this entire galactic sector, and everything you see around you right now. This is just our basic defensive posture." He gestured toward the massive displays showing human installations throughout the solar system. "We haven't even activated our primary weapons yet." Admiral Corax realized with growing horror that his intelligence had been completely wrong. The humans hadn't been caught off guard by the Krek's invasion. They had been expecting it, planning for it, and preparing the perfect response. The primitive species he thought he was conquering had been secretly studying galactic civilization for over a century, learning from every alien encounter and building defenses that surpassed anything the galaxy had ever seen. On the hidden side of Earth's moon, Lieutenant Colonel Han sat in the most advanced military control room humanity had ever built. Lunar Base looked like something from a science fiction movie, with holographic displays floating in the air and control systems that responded to her thoughts as much as her touch. Han had trained for this moment her entire career. While other alien species built defensive walls and energy barriers, humans had done something completely different. They had turned their entire solar system into one massive weapon that could strike from any direction at any time. All stations. "This is Lunar Command," Han announced over the quantum communication network. "The enemy has revealed their full strength. Time to show them ours. Begin Operation Solar Storm." Her fingers moved across the quantum-linked controls like a pianist, playing a complex symphony. Each touch sent commands to weapon systems scattered throughout the solar system, coordinating an attack that would come from every direction simultaneously. Asteroid. Platforms Alpha through Gamma. Begin bombardment sequence, she ordered. Target the enemy ships in formation 7 through 12. Jupiter Defense Array. Lock onto their command ship and prepare for maximum firepower. What happened next was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen before. The Krex fleet suddenly found themselves under attack from directions they hadn't even known were possible. Weapons fire came from asteroids they thought were empty rocks. Energy beams struck from hidden platforms on distant moons. Even space itself seemed to be fighting against them. But this wasn't just a normal space battle. Human weapons were doing something that confused and terrified the alien invaders. They were learning and adapting in real time. Every shot the Krex fired back, every defensive move they made, was instantly analyzed by human artificial intelligence systems. "Enemy shields holding at 60%, reported Major Yoon from his command station on Ganymede, one of Jupiter's largest moons. "But I'm seeing something interesting. Their shield technology is designed specifically to stop energy weapons, plasma cannons, laser beams, particle accelerators." Han smiled as she realized what this meant. "Then let's give them something they weren't expecting. Switch all platforms to kinetic bombardment. Sometimes the old ways are the best ways." Throughout the solar system, human weapon platforms began changing their attack strategy. Instead of firing energy weapons, they started launching solid metal projectiles. Tungsten rods the size of telephone poles, traveling at incredible speeds. These weren't fancy alien weapons with exotic energy signatures. They were simple, brutal, and devastatingly effective. The tungsten rods struck the Krex ships like hammers hitting glass, punching through shields that were designed to stop energy attacks, but couldn't handle the raw physical impact. Direct hits on enemy vessels 7, 12, and 15, Major. Yoon reported excitedly. "Their shields are collapsing under kinetic impact. These guys never planned for old-fashioned projectile weapons." The Krex fleet was experiencing something they had never encountered before. Every time they adapted to one type of human attack, the humans would switch to something completely different. When the Krex adjusted their shields to stop kinetic weapons, the humans would switch back to energy attacks. When they tried to jam human communications, the humans would use quantum channels the aliens didn't even know existed. Admiral Korax watched his tactical display in growing panic as his ships took heavy damage from attacks he couldn't predict or counter. "How are they doing this? Our technology is superior. We have weapons they shouldn't be able to match." Lieutenant Colonel Han opened a communication channel directly to the Krex flagship. "Admiral, you're right that your individual technologies are often superior to ours, but you made one critical mistake. You think like aliens." She gestured to her tactical displays, which showed the chaotic, unpredictable pattern of human attacks coming from every part of the solar system. "You build efficient, logical, predictable systems. We build messy, innovative, constantly changing systems. Your weapons are better designed, but ours are more creative." The human counterattack continued with relentless intensity. Weapons platforms that looked like simple mining equipment revealed themselves as mobile artillery units. Communication satellites transformed into guided missile launchers. Even the solar panels collecting energy from the sun rotated to become focusing mirrors, concentrating solar radiation into devastating beams. "You see, Admiral," Han continued, "while you were building better ships and stronger shields, we were learning to weaponize everything. In human hands, even a simple rock becomes a weapon if you throw it hard enough and fast enough." Major Yoon added another report from Jupiter. "Enemy formation is breaking apart. They're trying to retreat, but our outer system platforms are blocking their escape routes. The Krex fleet, which had entered the solar system with confidence and superior firepower, now found themselves trapped in a carefully planned ambush that used their own tactical predictability against them. Humanity's chaotic innovation had triumphed over alien technological superiority. The massive Galactic Council chamber had never seen such chaos. Emergency alarms echoed through the halls as delegates rushed to their seats, their faces showing confusion and fear. The news spreading through the galaxy was impossible to believe, yet the evidence was undeniable. Councillor Vex stood at the central podium, his 4 blue arms shaking as he held the latest intelligence reports. Just hours earlier, he had been laughing at images of primitive Earth. Now those same reports told a story that challenged everything the Council thought they knew about the galaxy. "Order! Order in the chamber!" Vex shouted, trying to control the panicked discussions happening throughout the massive room. "We must address this crisis immediately." Councillor Zeph, an elderly delegate from the Tau City system, spoke first. Her voice was barely a whisper, but in the silent chamber, everyone heard her clearly. 200 ships, the entire Krex Dominion. Assault fleet, destroyed by a species we classified as pre-spaceflight just this morning. The chamber erupted in shocked murmurs. The Krex Dominion was one of the most powerful military forces in the galaxy. Their ships were equipped with the latest weapons technology, their soldiers were trained from birth for conquest, and their fleet commanders had never lost a major battle. "How is this possible?" demanded Councillor Drax from the Vegan Republic. "Our intelligence clearly showed that Earth had no orbital defenses, no energy shields, no military spacecraft." But as the emergency session continued, other delegates began sharing their own disturbing experiences with the humans. What had seemed like isolated, insignificant incidents suddenly took on a much more frightening meaning. Captain Rawle, an Altine trade vessel commander, stepped forward nervously. "Honorable Councillors, I must report something strange that happened 6 months ago. My cargo ship was traveling through the outer regions when our long-range sensors detected an unknown vessel. He activated a holographic display showing sensor readings from his ship. The craft appeared to be of human design, but that was impossible. According to our records, humans had never traveled beyond their own moon. When we approached to investigate, the vessel simply vanished from our sensors." "Vanished how?" asked Councillor Vex. "We don't know," Captain Rawle admitted. "One moment it was there, the next it was gone. No energy signature, no warp trail, nothing. It was as if it had never existed." More delegates began sharing similar stories. The Centauri monitoring station reported detecting strange quantum communication signatures from the direction of Earth, the kind of advanced technology that supposedly didn't exist in human civilization. A delegate from the Rigel Consortium mentioned mysterious interference with their deep space scanners whenever they tried to observe the Sol system too closely. Another reported that several of their lost exploration probes had actually been found and returned by unknown benefactors, repaired with technology they couldn't identify. Intelligence Officer Kem, who managed classified information for the entire Council, activated the chamber's main display system. Files marked with the highest security classifications began appearing on screens throughout the room. "Councillors, I've been reviewing our classified archives," Kem announced. "If we look at all these incidents together, a disturbing pattern emerges. For decades, possibly longer, we've been experiencing unexplained phenomena in sectors near Earth. The display showed a galaxy-wide map with hundreds of small incidents marked across multiple star systems. Missing probes that returned mysteriously repaired. Trade ships that encountered helpful strangers who spoke perfect galactic languages. Dangerous asteroids that somehow changed course before hitting inhabited planets." Each incident seemed insignificant by itself, Kem continued. But taken together, they suggest a level of galactic involvement that would require technology far beyond what we believed humans possessed. Councillor Vex stared at the evidence with growing horror. They've been deceiving us all along. The question is for how long? Kem highlighted several files on the display. Based on this analysis, possibly for decades, maybe even longer. Every time we thought we were observing a primitive species struggling to reach their own moon, they may have been quietly operating throughout our galaxy. The chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. If humans had been hiding their true capabilities for decades, then every assumption the Council had made about galactic politics, military balance, and technological advancement was wrong. There's something else, Kem added quietly. If they've been watching us for this long, learning our languages, studying our technology, monitoring our military capabilities, then they know far more about us than we know about them. The most powerful political body in the galaxy suddenly realized they had been completely outmaneuvered by a species they had dismissed as primitives. The humans hadn't just hidden their defensive capabilities. They had been conducting the most successful intelligence operation in galactic history, and nobody had even noticed. 3 days after the destruction of the Krex fleet, something unprecedented happened at the Galactic Council Station. A ship unlike anything the aliens had ever seen approached their massive space facility, requesting permission to dock. The vessel was clearly of human design, but it incorporated technologies that shouldn't have existed on Earth. The hull showed influences from Altine metallurgy, Centauri energy systems, and vegan propulsion technology, yet everything was arranged in a uniquely human way that somehow made it work better than the original alien designs. "Unknown vessel, identify yourself," transmitted the Council's traffic control officer. "This is the Earth diplomatic ship Harmony," came the calm response in perfect galactic standard. "We are requesting an immediate audience with the full Council Assembly. We believe it's time for a proper introduction." The Council chamber had never been so quiet. Every delegate sat in tense silence as the main doors opened and a human woman walked confidently into the room. She wore a simple but elegant uniform that somehow commanded respect without being intimidating. Ambassador June moved to the center of the chamber with the kind of presence that comes from representing a major galactic power. Her posture was straight, her expression calm, and her eyes showed the intelligence of someone who understood exactly what kind of impact her arrival would have. "Honorable Councillors of the Galactic Assembly," she began, speaking in perfect galactic standard without any accent or hesitation. "I am Ambassador June of the United Earth Government. I come before you today seeking dialogue and understanding, not conquest or domination." The delegates stared in amazement. Not only was this human speaking their language fluently, but she was using the formal diplomatic protocols that took most species years to master. Her pronunciation was perfect, her grammar flawless, and her choice of words showed deep understanding of galactic political customs. Councillor Vex was the first to find his voice. "Ambassador, how long have your people been capable of interstellar travel?" Ambassador June smiled slightly. "Councillor Vex, we have been observing your civilization for several generations. During that time, we have been learning your languages, studying your cultures, analyzing your technologies, and yes, preparing for this exact moment when we would finally reveal ourselves to you." She gestured around the chamber, looking at each delegate in turn. "We know that Councillor Drax prefers direct communication and dislikes lengthy diplomatic ceremonies. We understand that the Altine representatives value trade partnerships above military alliances. We're aware that the Centauri delegation has concerns about territorial expansion near their home systems." The delegates exchanged nervous glances. This human knew personal details about their preferences and political positions that should have been classified information. Every species represented in this chamber has had contact with human observers over the past several decades. Ambassador June continued. "Sometimes our people posed as traders, sometimes as researchers, occasionally as travelers in distress who needed assistance. In every case we were studying you, learning about your strengths, your weaknesses, your hopes, and your fears." Councillor Zeph leaned forward nervously. Why? Why the elaborate deception? Why hide your true capabilities from us? Ambassador June's expression became more serious. Councillor Zeph, imagine if a complete stranger appeared at your front door, claiming to be friendly, but you knew nothing about their true intentions. Would you immediately invite them into your home and show them where you keep your most valuable possessions? She paused to let that sink in before continuing. We needed to understand what kind of neighbors we would be dealing with before revealing ourselves. Were you peaceful explorers seeking knowledge and friendship? Were you aggressive conquerors looking for new worlds to dominate? Were you traders interested in mutual benefit? Or were you the type who would exploit any weakness you discovered? The chamber remained silent as the delegates considered her words. The Krex Dominion gave us our answer, Ambassador June said quietly. The moment you believed Earth was defenseless, you immediately approved a military conquest. You didn't try to establish peaceful contact, offer trade agreements, or even send a diplomatic mission. You simply decided to take what you wanted by force. Councillor Vex shifted uncomfortably in his seat. The Krex were acting independently. The Council doesn't endorse unprovoked aggression. And yet you approved their invasion within minutes of the proposal, Ambassador June replied calmly. Without investigation, without debate, without even considering that there might be peaceful alternatives. The truth hung in the chamber like a weight. The Council had revealed their true nature the moment they thought they were dealing with a helpless species. Ambassador June's voice softened slightly. But we're not here for accusations or revenge. We're here because we believe that honest dialogue is still possible between our peoples. The massive council chamber, where representatives from dozens of alien worlds usually debated and argued, had gone completely quiet. You could hear a pin drop. Every single being in that room was staring at Ambassador June, trying to process what they had just learned about Earth and humanity. Councillor Vex, the proud leader who had spent years looking down on humans as nothing, more than primitive creatures playing with basic technology, now sat with his head lowered. His earlier confidence had completely vanished. The shocking truth about humanity's real capabilities had left him speechless and embarrassed. Finally, Vex found his voice and asked the question that everyone in the chamber was thinking. What exactly do you want from us, Ambassador June? His tone was different now, respectful rather than dismissive. Ambassador June's response was calm but firm. We want partnership, she said, looking directly at each council member. Not domination over you, not to make you bow down to us, but real cooperation between equals who respect each other. At that moment, a shimmering holographic image appeared in the center of the chamber. It was Commander Jin, speaking to them from Earth's massive orbital command station that circled high above the planet. The advanced technology that created this crystal-clear communication link across vast distances of space was just another reminder of humanity's true technological power. We could have revealed ourselves to the galaxy as conquerors, Commander Jin explained, his voice echoing through the chamber. We had the military strength and advanced weapons to force our way into your council through fear and violence. But that approach goes against everything we believe in as humans. We prefer to build bridges and create something better rather than destroy what already exists. Ambassador June stepped closer to the council platform, her presence commanding attention from every representative in the room. However, I want to make one thing absolutely clear, she continued. The age of underestimating humanity and treating us like backward children ends right here, right now, today. We're fully prepared to take our rightful place as an equal member of this galactic community, accepting all the responsibilities that come with membership, while also claiming all the privileges and respect we deserve. The council members looked at each other, having quiet conversations in their alien languages. Some nodded in agreement, others seemed worried about what this meant for the balance of power in the galaxy. But when the official vote was called, something remarkable happened. The decision was unanimous. Every single council member voted to accept Earth as a full member of the Galactic Council. But this wasn't the usual process of a primitive world, slowly earning its way up through the ranks. Earth was being welcomed not as a newcomer that needed guidance and protection, but as the advanced civilization they had always been, just hidden, in plain sight. As the official session came to an end and representatives began filing out of the chamber, Councillor Vex remained in his seat, deep in thought. A troubling question had formed in his mind, one that would probably keep him awake for many nights to come. He wondered quietly to himself how many other supposedly primitive species scattered across the galaxy might actually be doing exactly what humans had done. How many were watching from the shadows, studying galactic politics, developing incredible technologies in secret, and patiently waiting for their own perfect moment to reveal their true nature to the universe. The thought sent chills through his entire body. The galaxy, as everyone knew it, would never be the same again.